Here at the London MCM Expo. Have you been enjoying it so far?
Well, shall I start?
You can start.
As the veteran actor in the entire group, I've noticed. This is, for me, like the comparison to San Diego, which is a throbbing mess. You know, it's just extraordinary noise. And so this one is a throbbing mess, but polite. That's really good. Oh, okay.
Everybody's so nice. Well, this is my first actually, so it's crazy for me. And I was just about to say, everybody is so nice. It's, you know, you don't know what to expect, and everybody has just been great. It's a lot of fun, and I'm loving it. It's cool.
I'm just amazed by how cold it is outside and the costumes that I'm seeing walking through the door.
They're not wearing any clothes.
That is amazing. So I think a lot of people have become the character so well that they have their own personal body warmers, and it's an extraordinary thing to look at. Somebody in sort of that much clothing. Sort of 10 degrees outside.
It's a big event for the fans, of course.
Right.
Since doing the show, have you had any interesting experiences with the fans?
What do you mean by interesting?
Well, that depends.
I don't think I have anything unusual.
Neither have I. Other than, you know, some fan mail sometimes that is different. I had somebody send me money in one of my he sent me $10, and it was an American, and told me to come down to Pennsylvania, and he was going to show me around, and gave me $10.
$10 to get on the bus.
I don't know.
There was that big dollar bus that you could have waited for.
It gave me a laugh. I didn't know what he wanted me to do with that $10. But other than that, no. Allison's had some crazy stalkers outside of the hotel in Toronto, but I haven't had to experience any of that, thankfully.
Guys, what's your favourite part of your character's story in Warehouse 13 so far, and what can we look forward to coming up in the new season?
Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about Mrs. Frederick, because I think most people realize by now that no one quite knows who or what she is and how she gets in a room, how she gets out of a room. So the mystery applies to me as well. They don't tell me. And so I was always thinking it's so difficult to talk about Mrs. Frederick because you're not allowed to know who or what she is. But within that framework, because you've got to say and do and be in charge of a warehouse, I think my favorite part of her, which has absolutely nothing to do with how she acts, is how they dressed her and how they chose to go with this sort of 50s, 60s bouffant hairstyle, the cat glasses, the boucle. I think I brought boucle back since Jackie O, of these suits that she wears, and actually had people come up to me. It's like, where do you get those clothes from? I mean, you know, I think that there's a whole bunch of sort of vintage sort of, whether those seekers when you go around trying to find these things in vintage places now. So she might be a whole fashion icon.
Yeah, you started a whole new trend there, haven't you?
Exactly.
My favorite would definitely be my relationship with Artie, with Saul. Because it's kind of, once again, you know, the mystery with Lena is so unknown, and I think I love the fact that, I'm not sure if you guys remember in the pilot, for some reason she was there when Artie was there, and she's significantly younger than Artie. So, you know, it poses the question of how in the world was she there when you started? But I love the dynamic that there is between her and Artie. You know, it's kind of motherly, considering that she's younger than him, and the warmth and the love that she has for Artie is great. Definitely my favorite part of Lena.
That's interesting.
Isn't it?
How do you find that as actors if you don't kind of know exactly where your character's going or the storylines? They keep a lot from you, and how do you deal with that?
It actually doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
My head is filled with a lot of stuff that's made up, so that's great.
I actually thought it would be harder, but it's actually
that's
easier.
what I thought. Yeah, it is.
Because you're not confined, like another act would be about his character. You're not confined to following the parameters of that character. You can actually do whatever you want, and then when they rein you in, suddenly, like, you know, there's a grey hair in your head, you're suddenly not feeling well. Something very unlike Mrs. Frederick. Then you start to kind of go, oh God, now I've got to walk with a limp. It's like, yeah.
Do you have anything on the show that you've shot that you've particularly enjoyed and particularly looked forward to seeing on screen as well?
I do in terms of actors, because there's something about being the boss where you don't interact, you just react. Do this, fetch this, let's get him out of there, that kind of thing, you know, drive. And it's really nice every once in a while to have a character be newly revealed. So a relationship with Claudia, for say. So now we definitely know at this point that there's something really, really special about Claudia's instincts. That there's somehow she's on par with Mrs. Frederick in a funny way, and she might be the student to Mrs. Frederick, you know. And so something definitely you can see is about to happen with this relationship. So that's kind of fun, because suddenly you're just not telling her what to do. You're actually listening and you're having a conversation, which exposes a lot more about each other than you expected.
I would probably have to say it's corny, but whatever. When Lena got to go on the field, you know, Lena never gets to go on the field, and she's always either in the warehouse or the B&B. I think it was like episode 3 or 4 or something like that in the 4th season that she got to go out and kind of explore the world with Artie, and that was my highlight. Like, I couldn't wait to see that. I'm like, yes, she's outside, and even Pete was all, you know, Lena, what's going on? Yeah, that would have been my most exciting thing for me to do. It was cool.
What do you think it is about the show that makes it sort of so enduringly popular? You're in the 4th season now.
That's such.
I
there's
think,
so much
though,
for me, though.
Yeah, one of the things is, beside the fact I think you've got very good actors all around. It's a really good ensemble cast, and a cast that likes each other, which makes it very easy to move along. But there's something fascinating with real life history, where you just take a snippet of it, and then you put it together in a story that's mystery and scientific. And it's not the truth, but it makes you kind of go, did Napoleon really do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I Google things.
Yeah, so you find yourself doing a different kind of research, and I had no idea. Okay, so that's, I think, maybe the little gem that it is, and makes it different from other things.
Yeah, and how human everybody is. You know, people keep talking about this whole steampunky sort of thing. Well, sort of, but I mean, the characters, there's so, other than the artifacts, which, you know, obviously is the show in itself, and the warehouse, everything else, the storylines and the people, I mean, it goes so in depth in them that I think it really helps a lot. It's not just this sci-fi show. You actually have almost like a show within a show within a show, which is really neat. And I think that's another reason why it's lasted so long, because, you know, you actually want to follow these characters and see what happens. You're not just watching them fight and find things and be boring otherwise. But yeah, I think that would be one of the reasons why too.
Sorry, I bust out laughing.
You've had a wealth of television experience. I mean, and relatively new compared.
Yes, that's why I laughed when she said it's lasted so long.
I know, too. That's what means.
I mean, there pretty much isn't a TV show that you haven't been in at some point or other.
I suppose so, yeah.
There was a specific year in your life which you were pretty much in everything.
Pretty much.
You know what, to speak on that before you start speaking, to prove just how she's everywhere. One year I did 3 things. I did a pilot, 2 pilots, and a little part in a movie called Orphan. And ironically, she was in every single one of them. I'm like, oh, it's Cece. Oh, it's Cece. Oh, hi, Cece. And she just does everything.
Well, I did have a desire, you know, that there are actors who want to be a certain type of actor. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to cover every genre. And I really think that, maybe because I came from the theater, that...
It's the first thing you did, right?
Yes, but it felt like, now that's a theatrical thing to do, is to not relegate yourself to... I mean, there's some of my friends that they're always being ingenue, even at 60, they're still working on it.
Right.
And I'm a character actor. I came from the theater as a character actor, and I think that how it translates in film and television is to constantly play new characters, and therefore you have to go out to different genres. And the American version of classic is sci-fi.
Well, you've done voiceover work for like a sci-fi, like comic book movies as well.
Yes,
and stuff like that.
I play Amanda Waller.
Yeah, and also you were, before that, you were a TV
Desdemona
anchor.
and Justice League, and Obviously, Avatar is sort of performance capture, which is quite different because that's a different type of acting. Yeah.
Your wealth of knowledge, how does that help all of the other younger actors around you?
I was just going to say, and I get to work with her.
Yeah. Because not only that, but the guest stars that you have in on the show have literally also pretty much, like currently, from every other sci-fi genre, which is brilliant, bringing it all into one place, which is a unique hub. A lot of shows have tried to do that before, but not really kind of done it as much as you guys have.
Yeah, not as successfully either. Personally, I think it's amazing. CC actually does help me a lot, and does so without, she can give tidbits of pointers sometimes that you actually take away and go, this is great. Like, I actually go home and I think about what she said, and you don't take it offensively. Some people can tell you how to do something, or kind of be like, that's not working for you, and you can take it and be like, oh God, hate yourself. But Cece she's brilliant, and it's an honor, I guess, and it's great, like you just said. Who gets to work and still gets to work? Not too many people can say that, but it's true, and I get to say it.
Yeah, but I have been working
it's
for
for real.
Time. It's very true. Yeah.
Guys, let's talk a
Me
bit
and
about.
Kathy Bates, we're it. Sorry, Betty White. She's like.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about because you have so many actors coming into the show, don't you? Cameos and stuff, and you have a lot of crossover as well with other shows too. Tell me a little bit about how you enjoy working in that way, and also the people you've enjoyed particularly working with, and you think have really contributed to make the show what it is today.
Okay, the one thing I think that references to is, I'm not quite sure about this, but I think this is what's happening. There's some actors who don't know about science fiction in the sense of they do classic films, they do classic television movies, but science fiction seems sort of a little bit further along, out there. And I think some of them think, I'm not quite sure this will be good for what I want to do. I don't want to, be a monster in horns, wear tights, all of those things. And they don't quite get it. Actors from the theater get it very quickly, but sometimes I think they find it difficult. So that you find that the science fiction directors and so on, they go back to the pool of people who already understand it. So we have the captain of Star Trek, we have Christopher, I can't think of course his name's gone out of my head right now, but he's also in Star Trek, who had the initiative. He was in that great room with the Brotherhood.
Oh, yes.
Brent Spinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's who you were
Yes.
talking about first.
No, I was talking about, there goes my brain again.
I thought you were talking about Brent.
The female captain.
Oh,
the
you were
female
talking
captain
about Pete's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have these classic actors who have already done this stuff before and have already made a name for themselves before in another genre. In another series, and they've come to visit us as a kind of, it's a nod. It really is just a nod to, we acknowledge you, and you were brilliant before, and
You're still brilliant.
We still want to have you, share what we're doing, so that's the good part.
I felt like a big loser meeting Brent because I was super excited. My dad used to make me sit down and watch Star Trek with him all the time. And at the time, 7, I'm like, I don't want to watch Star Trek. But I saw him and it was just, he still looks amazing at his age and he looks exactly the same. And it was just, I was like, hi. I was actually a fan, and it felt so cool to be on a show that he, actually enjoys and wanted to be a part of. It was so neat, and it was really, really, really
Kate
cool.
Mulgrew, just
There
before I thank you.
Yes, yes.